Let me recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Reed, to speak on his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this amendment really is offered in regards to an issue that I think we can find some common ground on, and this is the issue of child care. And under the majority's proposed bill before us today, this amendment goes along the idea of making sure that this relief of this bill when it comes to child care gets out to our local communities in an efficient, effective way. I think we all agree child care is critical to our recovery. Child care in our communities, especially our local communities, it gets the resources not only that we want them to receive, but in the resources that we've already authorized and approved in existing CARES Act and COVID-19 related relief measures. We spent last March $3.5 billion in dedicated resources to address child care. Those dollars took a long time to make it down to actual child care providers in our communities. I can tell you from confirmation in New York State, New York State received $164 million under the Child Care and Development Block Grant through the original funding boost. But nearly a full year later, according to Sheila Poole, the Commissioner of Office and Children and Family Services, during a budget hearing this week in New York, only $40 million has actually gone out to families and child care providers of that $164 million. That's not even counting the additional $10 billion that we here in Congress have provided for states for child care in the last $908 billion bill that we did in December of 2000, signed into law on December 27th. That money almost certainly has not made it to providers given the slow pace of New York's approach, and I'm sure many other states across the country, of getting this money for child care services and providers into our local communities where we know this money should and needs to go. So what our amendment does that I submit here for hopefully consideration and support from my colleagues on the other side is simply say that within 30 days upon approval of this bill, that the states will provide a plan, a simple plan, to show how they will make any of this supplemental child care money available to local providers in a timely manner, so that they don't have to, our local providers don't have to wait 1 year like we saw in New York State of that $164 million of the original CARES Act money, that only $40 million has been distributed to our local community, that within 30 days of this money being approved under this child care additional relief, that the states will show a plan in black and white of how the money is going to be delivered to our local child care providers. This is conditioned upon the waiver of the state match requirement, just to say that, look, once the plan, and if the plan is not given within 30 days, that state match requirement that waiver that you put into the bill would not be eligible for those states, but that would essentially be the incentive for the states to submit that 30-day or that plan within 30 days. I don't think it's a significant burden to put on the states to just say this is the plan to get the money to our local child care providers, and that there will not be this delay in our state capitals, in our state, to getting this money out the door to the child care providers. So it's a simple, straightforward amendment. All it is doing is trying to put the pressure where pressure needs to be, so that the error that we have seen that in the existing CARES Act money, as well as the December money, is not repeated, and that we learn the lessons of that situation when it comes to child care, and the money is delivered to our local caregivers, to our local providers. And I ask and I encourage you to take this amendment and approve it and incorporate it in the underlying bill.
Thank the gentleman.
With that, I yield back.
Does the gentleman from Virginia continue to reserve his point of order?